Just one moment.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast. Welcome to the ET Stand Podcast, the podcast. Oh, we really are out of practice. It's the podcast that took almost all day for me to get ready because, quite frankly, I've forgotten how to do it. But we'll certainly get through it. Thank you for making us part of your day, wherever in the world you are listening or wherever you are watching. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and available on delay on all of those platforms, plus available on delay on all the good audio ones too. Joining me as ever on this wonderful journey of Sharks fandom as we enter 2026 is ever present on the podcast, Franco, Stephen Franklin. Hello, my dear friend.
G'day all, how are we?
Mate, good. Sorry I cut you off on the Are You Ready? I just started, so I guess we just started and we're getting into it.
Means I'm ready.
Yeah, fair enough. And fresh off the end of the NFL season and ready. Are you ready to chat NRL, Chris Kelly?
Yeah, I'm excited now. The NFL's finished. Let's try and get into it. I tried to watch a bit of 360 today and try and get into it. They're not even ready to go, so at least we're jumping the gun on them.
Well, actually, I didn't put it in the comments either in my news, the 360 and Buzz leaving, actually. So that didn't make my news. I guess we can talk about him at the end. And of course, listening and watching, and hello to all of you joining us for the first episode of the year. It'll be a slow start for us as we build towards episode 1. Who's this here? J-Day Man Drawing was first in off the gate saying that he was here. Scotty McLaren, are you still living in Korea? I still can't remember whether it's north or south. I hope you're doing well, Scotty. We've got Chris Williams 8471. Well, that's a new name for you, isn't it? Chris Williams 8471. Welcome back, lads. Here's to a massive season, says 2.0. Steep Descent says, really missed this podcast. I think it's called It's Been Too Long. So Steep Descent. Yeah, everyone's names have changed. That's got to be SJD, isn't it?
Very much. The coach has got a new
name. The coach is back. Steep Descent. Why has everyone's names changed, Franco? That must be a new YouTube thing.
Can't tell you, mate. I don't have a YouTube account, so.
Of course you don't. Why would Franco? Does that mean you're not subscribed to your own channel, Franco?
I'm not. Correct.
Oh, goodness. All right. And then Harley's back. China Palata and Najvada George signed for the Sharks in 2026 NRLW season. I got to confess, my eyesight's gone in the off season. I'm struggling to read. So I'm probably going to have to get some glasses soon. And Scotty McLaren confirms I'm still here in Korea, not telling you whether it's south or north, but it's bloody cold. All right. Well, good to see you all. And do get your comments in how you're feeling about the season. Are you glad to see the return of the footy season and the Sharks' chances? Trish Meddy, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back to you too. Trish, I'm sorry that I didn't stop the ball from hitting you that time last season. Still sorry about that. I hope you're doing well and had a good off season. Now, at the top of the show, you guys might have noticed a mark of respect for Chris Bloxham, who tragically lost his life in December 2025. Chris was a dear friend of the show. And the principal of Solve Accounting, who are our founding sponsors of the ET Stand podcast. Chris himself was a longtime friend of ours, particularly mine. And I'm going to spend the final segment actually reflecting on our mate Bloxham. So definitely taken too soon. But let's get into the show. We'll have all the news and off-contract players chat, stability and final 2025 thoughts. We'll preview the Eels trial. Jeez, I'm out of practice, aren't I? We will preview the Eels trial. I'm going to do an unboxing of the merchandise packs because Chris and Franco think that I always steal all the hats off them. So if I open the box in front of them, then they can't say that I'm doing that.
Do you have yours yet, CK?
Nothing, mate. I've got nothing. Nah, not even a card.
I think that's stolen. He's going to open our stuff, and that's the definition of stolen.
Proves our
that's right.
point.
That's right.
Going to prove it live on camera.
Yeah, I'm literally going to prove your point live on camera, mate. You should see the lunchbox that I've got from those 2010s decades. Oh, they're so good, bloody lunchbox.
I don't even know if we can get into the gate again, Franco. Is that what's going to happen again round one?
And I think that guy that always used to let us in, I think James has left, so I don't know who's going to help us now. We need a new friend in the Sharks members team. So Sharks, if you're watching, because I know you're watching, especially you, Dino. I know you're watching, you're listening. Fitzgibbon, I hope you're listening too on your way over from. Well, no, we know Fitzgibbon's watching because SJD's here. And lastly, we've got Chris Kelly's going to do his NRL team of NFL players. But without further ado, let's get into the Sharks news because, quite frankly, there's a bit of it. Now, hot topics in social media, everything from the off-season. Now, dear friend Latz is not going to be able to join us as much this season because of his work commitments. So that's a bit of a bummer, but we'll have to change the title screen, won't we, Chris, and get him more into it.
No,
All right.
contribute. I like it.
Yeah, all right, well, yeah, maybe we'll do some more AI work. All right, let's get into the Sharks social news and all hot topics in social media from the off-season. And quite frankly, there is a lot of it. Player signings. The Sharks have not been completely dormant in the off-season with some player retentions and movements. Young utility Hohepa Peru was re-signed, continuing his progression through the Sharks system and providing that versatility across the squad. In the outside backs, we've seen Marine Hiroti recommitted for the short term at 2026, but will depart at the end of 2027. Interesting that they made a song and dance about that on the website too. That move sees Hiroti reunite with former Sharks assistant coach Josh Hannay, who left at the end of last season, who is now head coach of the Titans. In the forwards, the Sharks secured a significant retention win by extending Jesse Colquhoun through to the end of the decade. Colquhoun is highly regarded internally for his toughness, work rate, and he as seen as a future captain and a core middle forward for the team. There's also talk of, and I think this has happened, signing a young prop called Owen Trout, who I don't know much about other than the fact that he has a moustache. On to the next. Coaches. The Cronulla Sharks have added specialists.
Not confirmed yet.
It's looked at, it was talk of confirmed and then it wasn't. And then,
Yeah.
Stuart Campbell. Let's don't forget the Trout is signed. Has the Trout signed? I thought it was confirmed.
So given it's come from Ricky O, there's a fair chance it's as good as stamped, but there's no announcement being made yet that I'm aware of.
The headline was interested, highly interested, so we'll go with that.
Yeah.
I just think it's a great name for the Sharks to be involved with Trout.
I mean, he is a prop / back rower, so it's going to be interesting to see where he might fit in if we do sign him. We've definitely pretty stacked in that department, so that could.
We need more, Franco. All of them.
Pigeons. Got to catch them all.
Can he play fullback?
Oh, don't get 2.0 started on who can play fullback. Just don't do it. Don't do it to us. All right, new coaches. Let's talk about them. So the Sharks have added some specialist expertise to the coaching setup ahead of the 2026 season. There's even got some chat on Sunrise. So Matt Shervington joins the Sharks as a high-performance sprint and speed coach, bringing that elite track and field experience to the football program. He is, of course, the former Olympic sprinter and Australian record holder. His role is apparently focusing on acceleration, top-end speed, running mechanics, and injury-resilient movement, particularly benefiting the outside backs and edge players. Let's see how far Stone Street goes this season, shall we? That'll be good. And then the one I'm excited about is former French international Freddie Michalak joins the coaching group as well. Bonjour, ça va, and all of that. I'll work on my French. And adding that world-class playmaking experience, one of the most skillful and creative halves of his generation. I think it's 74 caps for the French rugby team. Michalak will work closely with the Sharks' halves and spine, concentrating on decision-making, attacking shape and execution under pressure. What I like about these two signings in terms of coaching staff is that it is a view of strengthening where we might have had weaknesses. We haven't just signed defensive coaches and people who can do the same thing. I think, Franco, that might make you happy, or are you still a bit cranky pants?
Yeah, no, I'm obviously we know that we seem to be a bit heavy in the defensive side with all three coaches, three being the main head coach and two support coaches, all being defensive orientated. Look, it remains to be seen sort of how these pieces fit in. Interesting that both of them have a working relationship with members of our coaching staff already, so they come in with a bit of a connection and not coming in cold. So obviously they have something to offer that our coaches already appreciate. So that's good that they've identified a skill and talent there and brought them in, as opposed to hopefully not a job for the boys. We'll see how it goes.
Chris, are you excited about seeing a bit more Sharks coverage on Channel 7 and with Chervo and all those sort of connections we might get?
The first two people I thought of obviously was Franco. You know, he always wants a bit of speed introduced to our team, those sort of traditional Sharks flying sort of teams. And the other one was the admin lady, because she's a big fan of Chervo when he chucks on those tights. So,
don't get the admin lady excited.
She's very excited about Shervington. So it's all she ever thinks about is Chervo. So, good additions.
It is worth mentioning that this isn't the first NRL club that Chervo's worked with. So, have a think about if he's big noting other clubs while he was working with him. I don't think so. I think he kept very professional.
Who did he work for before?
He worked with the Bulldogs and the Dragons in the past.
Yeah, well, they really kicked on with his bloody help, didn't they?
Well,
all right, on to the next. Dino Mezzatesta, Sharks CEO, put out quite a lengthy pre-season update. I'm going to give you the TLDR on that one. The Woolooware Bay Leagues Club is tracking to reopen mid to late 2026, says Dino, with construction progressing well across the facade, structural and internal works on the Cronulla Sharks to win a premiership before I die Facebook page. Stole this photo, which I think someone just happened to take that was in the group, showing that there has certainly been progress. They've got a new general manager of the Leagues Club joining from Manly, a character called Julian Bova. Sharks at Cronulla continues to trade strongly and remains the club's main hospitality venue. They're just doing so well after I hosted the Australian Wrestling Superstars last weekend. They're just coming off the high of that one. The Cronulla Sharks membership, they're targeting 20,000 members this season. We're at 12,000 now. So if you don't have your Sharks membership yet, get involved. I reckon that 17,923 members, that might be a little bit tricky. We'll see how we go. Commercial performance is positive, boosted by the Ocean Protect Stadium naming rights deal. So that looks to be a good one for Sharks and certainly well aligned. I've actually gotten a hold of the Cronulla Sharks sponsorship proposal. Dean Flanagan, the new sponsorship guy for the Sharks. So I'm going to go through that in a future episode, I think. Don't know if they'll like that, but I've gotten a hold of it. There's a whole bunch of apparel sponsorships and player sponsorships still available. I'm waiting for the ET stand to be given a free sponsorship of a player. Maybe we'll get new Trout can be the player that we'll sign. The Sharks are going to make
a that's my call. Let's do it.
You want Felix?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know Franco's son's named Felix. That's why he wants that one. So we'll see how we go. But, yep, still waiting, Dino. And then the 10-year anniversary of the 2016 Premiership will be recognised throughout the 2026 season. I can tell you that I know firsthand I'm going to make a big deal of that in the round 27 game versus the Storm, which I believe will decide the minor premiership for the season. Sharks, we're going. Minor premiers. And then lastly, there's a whole bunch of merch now available, including a throwback 2016 style home jersey as part of the Premiership anniversary celebrations. On to the next. The Sharks held a fans' day, which by all reports was very hot, but the Sharks squad was out in complete full force. So all of them were there. A couple of pics here of 2.0's kids and Jet Wall, speedster outside back for the Cronulla Carringbar under-8s with his idol there, Ronaldo Mulatalo. Any of you in the comments got there, let us know what you thought. I was trying to get down there, but I got caught up with the podcast studio build and my move. So sadly, didn't make it down to the fan day. The All-Star Sharks. The Sharks will be strongly represented at the 2026 All-Stars fixtures with 10 Sharks players selected across the men's and women's matches to be played on February 15 in Hamilton, New Zealand. And the men's Indigenous All-Stars, we of course have Nico Hines and Braden Trindle steering the side alongside centre Jesse Ramian, forward Ohepa Peru. They'll come up against the Sharks teammates Britton Nicola, who is going to be pretty pumped to reclaim that back row spot. And, of course, the aforementioned Marween Hiroti, named for the Maori All-Stars. On the women's side, we've got Quincy Dodd, Jada Taylor, Caitlin Johnson-Green and Rhianne Byers representing the Indigenous All-Stars. And that can be seen on 9 and Fox League if you want to check that out. Next up, Sharks fans will see a familiar face on TV with Don Rogers named as a cast member on Australian Survivor. Sharks cult hero and brother, of course, of Matt Rogers, who was a former Sharks well as a Sharks Hall of Famer.
Legend. Yeah.
Absolute legend, the Rat. Was also an excellent Survivor player in his day. So it'll be interesting to see how Don goes on that one. And I'll just say, Survivor, I'm waiting. I'm ready. Come on, get me on. I'll be the Shark or something or other. I'll get voted out first, Franco, or I'll win. There's no in the middle for me. Plenty of Sharks fans will be tuning in to see how one of their own goes on Survivor. And then lastly, the stuff that I picked out, look, he's gotten a lot of press and is shopping himself around. Toby Rudolph has revealed he is managing his own contract in 2026, acting as his own player agent after Luke Lewis has moved into coaching. While he has spoken to other clubs, Rudolph says his priority is staying at the Cronulla Sharks and he's letting the season unfold before making any decisions. With something up the area of 15 Sharks players coming off contract, Rudolph believes the club's premiership window is closing. I don't like this club premiership window closing stuff. We'll get to that, describing 2026 as a now or never season. He gave credit to Aden Fanua-Blake with transforming the forward pack, saying his dominance through the middle gives the halves a genuine platform. And Rudolph admits that his own personal season in 2025 could have been better. He also, in his other news outlets, he was defending Nico Hines and Fitzgibbon, but said that criticism of key fingers actually helped the squad. And he's pretty pumped up with the season despite Latalo and McInnes being injured. Rudolph says the symbolism of 2026 marking 10 years also adds extra urgency to the team. Let's get into it. And that was, I guess, the next subject point for us was this idea of stability and off-contract players. Franco, the reported 15 or 16 off-contract players at the end of the season, all the talk surrounding it. Rudolph's thrown some shade its way. Does that talk matter? What's your take on that?
Yeah, look, it's one of those things that we've seen this a couple of times with the Sharks over the last, we'll say, 4 years, sort of around the time that Fitzgibbon joined the club. Darren Mooney runs a really good ship there in terms of player retention. That said, there has been a long-going scenario of chunks of players coming off contract at the same time. We've had the fortunate scenario where most of them have been wanting to stay at the club. They're in a position where we've been able to keep them. There's been a couple of hairy moments where we've almost lost them and then they've been retained. Twice with the Warriors, with Rudolph being touted at going there, and then Hamlin Ueli before doing a bit of a backflip and sticking around with the club. We've generally retained the players that we wanted to retain. And I'm probably expecting something similar to happen, although we can't keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, I'll say. So this year, well, you mentioned and Rudolph mentioned the premiership window. It's probably not talk about a premiership window in terms of player retention. I know some of these players might be expecting a little bit of extra coin because of improvement and extra clubs coming into the NRL, creating a bit of a competition for players. I think it's going to be more a case of if we don't perform, we've got players off contract that we don't need to continue with the club. So it'll be more of a club decision than a player decision, I think, in this scenario. And we'll pick them out and we'll keep who we want to keep. But there's a few players there that are probably in line for perform or ship out.
Hey, Chris, I was going to throw to you as your screen's blacked out. So you're still there, or you're No, he's gone, Franco. So I guess we're just going to have to.
We don't need him.
Well, he's off contract. He's gone. Well, I was going to ask him, who do we think are our players that are actually probably going to be sniffed around, Franco? The squad, and who might disappear? It's got to be. Oh, Chris Bell. Chris, you back?
You muted him. You can't hear us. You can't speak.
Yeah, he can't speak. I muted him. Yeah, I unmute you. There you go.
Well,
are you doing the washing back there, Chris, or something? What's going on?
He's gone.
All right. Well, back to you and B, Franco. All right. So anyway, apologies for those.
Who's being? Look, I don't think we're actively shopping anyone around, if I was to understand the question correctly.
Who's going to get approached? Who's going to get taken off us? I'd be devastated to lose Talakai.
Well, I don't think Talakai is going to go anywhere. I think he's going to be a key retention individual. He's flexible. He's dynamic. He's a fan favorite. I think he's certainly going to be one of those players that we hang on to. There might be a bit of a fight, and he might require a bit more coin to stick around, and that's sort of what I'm talking about, the bit of the squeeze. Another player that I think will be in hot contention is Billy Burns. He had a red-hot go at the end of last season, certainly performed in a way that got the attention of a lot of fans and the press. So, look, he's a back rower, skillful, and I think that he will be probably a hit list for someone like the Bears or PNG who need to fill a roster that can get a really good back rower for not a lot of coin. That said, we could look to hang on to him at the expense of a couple of other players, but he's probably a high risk. Jesse Ramian, I think he might be on the outer. Ramian has been talked about going to Titans and following Hannay. There's probably a fair whack that'll happen. Look, we've got SJ Campbell. He's talking about Ramian and McInnes. I mentioned Ramian, but McInnes, I don't think he will be long for this club. Certainly a very good club man. The knee injury came at a really bad time, but I don't even think if he was fit and healthy that he'd be sticking around. With Jesse Colquhoun hitting his straps, he's probably going to be set for a bit of a pay cut in a bench spot or a left-right out type scenario.
I think McInnes is definitely done, Franco.
Yeah,
I think he's my mail is he's going to try and be the captain of the Bears.
Yeah.
Speaking of being the captain of the Bears, I heard that it's not been locked down that Blake Brayley is not necessarily going to be the captain of the Sharks next season.
Well, there you go. That's new news to me. And by next season, you mean 2026?
2026, yeah. So, Fitzgibbon was asked recently, will Blake Brayley be the captain again? And he didn't answer yes or no.
Okay,
Well, prepared to answer. So if he wasn't the captain, why would he answer that way? So maybe I think we're going to go down the route of a co-captain scenario is what I think.
I hope not, but that is certainly possible. We did it previously under Fitzgibbon with McInnes and Finucane. So that's something we might do. I think that Brayley thrived with the C next to his name, so you'd be silly to take it away from him. But, stranger things have happened. And then we've got all the fringe players like Tapua, Hiroti, we've already mentioned, is on the outer. Stone Street's going to be an interesting one. I think, obviously he's going to have most of a season to prove with Mulatalo out with his ACL. So it will be a bit of a shootout between him and Gatoa. I don't think Stone Street will want to stay on the bench or be in New South Wales Cup for too much longer after getting a good taste of first grade this year. But that's sort of where we're at. Interesting enough, I'm pretty sure I read that Max Bradbury has moved on. He was the guy that was in the player swap with Lockie Miller from Newcastle. There was a lot of people who kept talking him up and kept hoping the world from him. He did suffer some pretty bad injuries while he was with us, but it looks like he's now moved on and not going to be with the Sharks any longer.
As we welcome Chris Kelly back into the studio.
Speaking of stability.
Well, talking of stability, look, and where is it? Just here, just chat of just people taunting you in the comment, just saying, new season, Chris Kelly's same internet issues. My question for you, Chris, was going to be which teams do you think might sniff around for some of our players, and who do you think that pressure is going to be on, and who do you think will be going? Look, we know that to give you a head start on it, BHU and Rudolph, as Franco mentioned, have been touted to be going to the Warriors previously. Obviously, the Bears are going to be sniffing around anyone who's basically a third choice player out of 2 selection spots is going to be ripe for the picking. Who have you got that might be done with the Sharks?
Oh, who's done? It's really going to come down to what we can offer is what it's always going to happen with the cap situation, isn't it? Like I know you said you don't want to speak on the premiership window, but we've got a lot of players who have improved over that time. I really thought Calhoun was out the door. I really had a high risk that he was gone. But it is probably BHU's probably on the outer, but not saying that we want them gone. It's more just the fact that, tailing end that sort of career where we've still got Fanua Blake, we've got young forwards, we signed the Trout, possibly.
We've got
there's a lot
Hazelton
of
till 28. We've
Hazelton,
got Fusi till 27. So he's the one that's off contract. Most to lose.
Yeah,
and then probably the cheat code as well. Talakai is still going to be floating around whether he's staying or not.
We can't lose the cheat code. We can't. Oh, he'll be so good for someone else if he played us too. That'd just be heartbreaking. Chris, do you believe with the Lats thinking that the off-contract nature of a player makes them play better?
Oh, 100%. Just like, Toby's going to bet on himself, and sometimes that backfires. But, if he has a whale of a season, then his contract obviously goes up. He's going to self-manage it so he can sort of say what he wants to get paid via the market. And with 2 new teams, we've got one team obviously coming in, possibly a second one, an expansion. It only opens the salary cap wider. Like, you look at someone like, I'm not comparing him to him, but Kalamatangi's going to the Dragons on $1 million a season for 4 years. Like, that's big money for props now.
Yeah, that just feels too much money for mine. But, Dragons keep making bad decisions. Just like that Payne Haas signing for the South, also a bad decision. Let's go through some of these comments. And look, Stewie Campbell's come in. What is the consensus on the 6-man bench? How does it work for us? 4 forwards, a utility, and outside back. Well, Stewie, if you were on the Discord channel, you would have seen Franko and I arguing about whether Daniel Atkinson would be good under the 4-man system or the 6-man system. And I can't understand why Daniel Atkinson wouldn't be better under the 6-man bench system. But Franko, I'm sure will explain this to us in a second, why Atkinson's better under a 4 than a 6. There's been reservations from the Sharks staff about the 6-man bench and how you'll end up having 2 players that will be on the bench that may not get a play. So that won't be good for development of players. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. You would think the obvious answer is, you're playing outside back and a hooker and then you have 4 forwards. But maybe that's not the answer. Franko, you had an interesting discussion point on the Discord channel. Gave me a hard time, which is always entertaining. Link to the Discord channel in the description of the video. Get into Discord. Franko, a retort?
Yeah. So, look, the reason for Atkinson in a 4-man bench is because you've only got so many people to fit. So a utility that can cover multiple positions is there for any scenario where there's an accident or an injury that happens, anything unforeseen. And that happens more and more these days with the HIAs and whatnot and the speed and intensity of the game. So ergo utility. We've even seen in the past when we won a premiership, we're having a outside back on the bench, which no one wanted.
What's the name of that champion player? What was his name?
Can't remember.
He was a former international, wasn't he?
International Beal.
International Beal. There we go. We should keep a counter of how many times we mention International Beal on this show. It's up to 1. So we're up to 1 on the Beal counter. Keep going, Frank.
2026. So there is a reason why there's a value of a utility on the bench with 4 available. You can choose not to. You can choose to run the 4-man heavies or, a hooker, something that you think will get a bit more work done for you in a team. But having a 6-man bench gives you a little bit more strategy. And the reason why a utility is no longer needed, or at least not as critical, is because you can have an outside back and a spine player, whether that be a half or a hooker, and then your 4 big boppers. So if everything's going well, if everything's working as intended, you don't have to use. I suppose we should outline the rules for people who haven't heard how this works. The 6-man bench doesn't mean you get to use all 6 interchange options. It's still only 4 players. You just choose which 4 on the fly during the game. So it is more of a strategic play than anything. There's obviously elements there that cater to the coaches who are complaining about HIAs and you can't plan for certain scenarios. So it does assist in that manner. And so what you do is you've got your 4 big forwards, you have an outside back most likely, and as I said, a spine player, which is probably a half. Now, in that scenario, you talk about development and whatnot, and I'm not sure where you got that info, Boldo, but I did read Fitzgibbon coming out and saying he was actually excited for this change. I think it actually helps development of players because you can put someone like an outside back on the bench, and if your team's flying, you're doing really well. None of the props are fatigued. You've been steamrolling a game. You can bring them on for a 10-minute stint towards the end there and not worry about using your fourth prop. Or you could have 5 props on the bench and see how they go. Yep, we'll put out an experienced prop on. And then if they don't get a game, they line up for their New South Wales Cup team or, whichever grade they're playing. They go, yep, cool. We didn't use you. You can now play the other grade.
As long as that match isn't first, though, Franco. If the match is first,
schedule
then
permitting.
it doesn't work. So I think I worked out why
we've been losing that with players for the 18th man anyway, right? So there's no real difference.
I think I worked out why you think that Atkinson isn't necessary, because you believe Atkinson is an outside back utility as well, whereas I really think he's only really a half and 5'8". He's no winger or centre.
Oh, he's a good fullback. So
I don't think we ever saw him once at fullback, did we?
We did, yeah.
In a trial.
Yeah. So look, I think the utility is still going to be needed, as I mentioned. Like if you're going to stick 5 props on the bench, then you might want a utility in there. But I think it's going to be one of those scenarios.
Well, if you can only use 4 players, you're not going to put 5 forwards on the bench, because why would you bother?
As I mentioned, you would use the 5th prop to get development. So if you were playing, let's say, one of the lower teams, someone on the bottom of the ladder, you put your 5 props on the bench. And if you are steamrolling them, you're doing really well, you can give one of your inexperienced props a go. Okay? So you can go, all right, sorry.
And if you've got an injured player, you can also leave them on the bench. And then if you're winning by 30 points, just decide not to play him.
Correct. Right. So
yeah,
there's a lot of different.
That'll be a great problem for the Sharks to have, Franco. Yeah, we're ahead by 30 points against the Titans. That never happens.
Well,
that does. Well, that does happen. That does happen.
We'll
right, let's get through some of these.
Can I raise 2 points about it?
All right. Yep.
I can't wait to see how it affects fantasy / super coach, because it's going to drive people absolute bananas. And Boldo, how many weeks until the NRL absolutely stuffs this up, or a coach finds the greatest loophole there is, and it just makes back pages when a team wins by interchanging a wrong player or bending the rules a little bit because of this and that?
Oh, I can't wait for us to win a game when we get beaten on the points.
The neck injury, it turns into a HIA, and they get a free interchange, and they've got a fresh guy out there. Like it's going to go bananas. Oh, we know what rugby league does.
We know there'll be some referee loophole that the players or that the coaches will come up with. All right, well, SJ Campbell, that was a good question from you, Stewie. Mike on Facebook says, welcome back, boys. Good to see you, mate. 2.0 says, oh, God, please let Ison have an injury-free season. You'd have to agree with that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and, lots of talk around them. All right, let's get on to the next segment as we try and move through this show. 2025, a final thought. Look, Franco and I certainly gave a bit of a download. Chris, you've had a few months now to think about it. What's your final thoughts on 2025, looking back now?
Yeah, again, we had a pretty good season like we predicted. There was a lot of stability in the squad. I thought we did well where we were positioned. I still enjoy going to Canberra and winning down there. Obviously disappointing losing to a Storm team in Melbourne as usual. Back-to-back prelims. We had a great time in Vegas. I wish we won that game. Not a bad
How
season.
good was Vegas?
Yeah, see, it flashes back.
Oh, so good, Vegas, wasn't it?
Let's go again.
Oh, so good.
You know who's going again? Talking of Atkinson, he's getting to Vegas 2 years in a row.
He is too, isn't he?
Yeah.
He'll be number 18 again. Hopefully he gets on the field this time. Did Atkinson get on the field in Vegas?
He did, yeah. He was a bench utility.
He's so good in 2025 as a bench utility.
With about 20 minutes to go, Franco, I couldn't tell you what happened.
All right, like 50 minutes to go. Just too busy winning bets and like
It's a long
life.
night. It's a long night.
Oh, good. Especially when you've got the women's match and the English match.
They've made the same mistake though this year. The Dragons dogs aren't playing until 8:30 p.m. over there. They've lessened the games, and they've still got the schedule late again.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Look, we all know they're going to bloody Dubai in a couple of years and banking like the WWE money, Chris. I've got a Ryder or right. What's that? Where was the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, Ryder.
Ryder. Yeah, that'll certainly happen.
They've already got soccer. They've already got golf. They've got WWE. It's only a matter of time.
They're going to have the NRL. They're going to have they're going to have cheat codes if Italica is going to be turning up. Franco, just simpler question for you on a 2025 retrospective before I get to one of the comments that I'm going to answer. Are we closer to a premiership now, or were we closer 12 months ago?
I think we're closer now.
Why?
We're a healthier squad.
That's going to help.
That's going to help. I know Multalo and McInnes are out with ACL injuries, but I think we're a healthier squad overall, especially in the engine room. I think we're going to be in a better position moving forward. Touch wood, touch all the wood you can find. I think we're in a better position, but I do think, I know you mentioned the premiership window, and that's a bit of a chat. I think we performed to expectations last year. I don't think we outperformed where we thought we would be. I know it was a great feather in the cap to get to one game before the big dance, but I think we all expected to be there and hoped we could go a step further. We ended where we thought we would end. This year, look, I know you don't want to accept mediocrity, but if we end up at the same spot, I would say that's probably where we should be again. And if we get any further, that's because something clicked along the line and the boys are firing and happy days. But if we end up in the same spot again, it wouldn't surprise me. And that's
same spot, you mean we're in a prelim final playing to get in the grand final in Sydney, or are we going somewhere?
Oh, I'd like to be in Sydney for sure. I think, look, we were a points differential away from being in Sydney last year. We should be in Sydney again.
Well, we know how important points differential is.
We are. Go for the try, get the extra points.
Yeah, you got to just go. Well, funnily enough, actually, let's just touch on that. So the kickoff rule might actually make taking the two be not as advantageous. So
that
look,
the rule was scrapped. It didn't get put in.
Oh, when did that get axed?
Before they announced the rules.
Last couple of days. Is that gone?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, right. I was listening to an old podcast where Fitzgibbon was talking about the kickoff rule. All right, good.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then don't worry about it. Yeah, what would I know? Bloody, I'll just leave you guys on the rule changes. All right, other than that, I think we're closer than you think, Franco. I reckon we're
brilliant.
I reckon Sharks can do the minor premiership this year. After having gone through and looked at the draw, I did a video on it. I think in round 27 we're playing for the minor premiership against the Storms. And if we do that, then Sydney final for us is going to be absolutely critical for us to progress. So I think as 2.0 points out, less travel for us this year should have us firing from the start of this year. But Stewie says, we travel more than the Broncos. A bit disappointed the NRL gave them such an easy draw after winning the comp. Yeah, they do have the World Club Challenge though, don't they? And they also don't have a great coach. So they've already got a handicap because they got Maguire. We know that he's not any good. Anyway. I'm going to answer Mike Hoxnell's question on Facebook. What are your boys' thoughts on the Fitzy extension talks? Fitzy's got 2 years left on his contract. When Fitzy signed for us, I got to confess I was worried about it because he is a Roosters person, and I was always pretty anti Fitzgibbon. Chris and I are well known for calling out various names at Fitzgibbon when he played against us. So one of my worries is that Fitzy, if Trent Robinson bounces out of the Roosters, is that we might lose him. That's just something we've got to wear. And whilst we've not won a premiership with him, I think he's more likely to stay. I don't think Fitzgibbon's going anywhere other than if the Roosters came calling. I just can't see him going to coach anywhere else. So the Alan Fitzgibbon connection and all of that, he seems pretty settled. I would think that he would stay around. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about Fitzgibbon departing. Chris, have you got a commentary on Fitzy?
Yeah, I'd love him to stay. Obviously, you want those coaches staying around. I miss the days when we had coaches for a long time, and it seemed to be the first guy to go instead of the squad getting chopped up. It's the coaches go out the back door. So hopefully he stays on and signs an extension. I don't think he'd go anywhere else. He's quite happy there, and he's building something very nice.
Yeah, I think not only is he settled, but the club is settled, right, and the roster's settled. So, it'll. I wouldn't be running out to re-sign him, as you said, Boldo. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think next year might be a bit of an interesting scenario because, as we said, if we end up same again this year, there might be a bit of a turnover. There might be a little bit more of questions asked on sort of the playmakers and what we do there. We know we've got some young up and coming talent coming through there. We've got some people signed for an extended period of time. So some big decisions to make for Fitzy moving forward if we don't start performing. So I'd like to see him stick around, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere. And if we're thinking that he's not going anywhere, then there's no need to make our bed and line it.
Scotty McLaren's commented here. Madge, here's what Boldo just said and sticks 2 premiership ring fingers up at him. And I'll just say to you, Madge, that the West Tigers are always in a game. Nah, Madge sucks. Don't rate him as a coach at all. But, good luck to him. He won 2. I reckon I could have coached
Australia with New Zealand, right?
Does that really give Australia? Who was he coaching against that? In Wayne Bennett?
No, it would have been.
No, he had Wayne Bennett helping him. No, that was an earlier. I don't know. Anyway, international football. Chris Kelly dips out. All right, let's get on to the Eels trial as we progress through the show. The Eels trial. The Sharks have named a youth heavy for the future team that will have Stephen Franklin salivating at the prospect of debriefing these youngsters as the Sharks tackle the very much underachieving Parramatta Eels at Henson Park on Sunday night. It is a festival of footy at Henson Park, and there's 5 different grades playing. Up front, we've obviously got the genuine experience with ULE, Big Tom, Toby Rudolph playing at lock. It was an interesting choice, but I guess it makes sense giving him some middle time. And in the middle, the spotlight will firmly be on Liam Ison at fullback alongside Stone Street and Gabriel, the players with speed. So we'll see how they go. And then we'll see how the young half pairing of Riley Pollard and Niwa Puru will also go, given that Braden Trindle and Nico Hines are not floating around. And we'll see the cheat code Talakai also in the team. I will pull up the team on the screen for you now, Stephen, so you can give us a reaction to that team as I put you in the big spot. Franco, what do you make of that team? And sadly for us, I didn't have time to list the 78 players that were on the bench, so I have a feeling you might have the extended bench there ready to go if you want to talk to them. What do you make of the team and who you're looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, look, you kind of mentioned there is a little bit of an eye towards the future here. Chris Vieira there in the centres is actually going to the Perth Bears next season, so he'll be out the door. But still, he was next man up last year. Maybe good to make sure that he's still fit and ready to go in case we need him. Although I'm pretty sure Michael Gabriel's leapfrogged him. Big raps on Gabe's there, and like we said, I think Ramian's looking over his shoulder, off contract himself, so it'll be interesting to sort of see what happens. I've got big raps on Dixon. I think his defense could be a bit shaky, but if you cast your mind back, everyone was saying Ero's defense was a bit shaky as well and no good and not ready for first grade, and he eventually turned out to be pretty strong defensive centre. So work in progress, but I think Dixon, is all heart. Ison, we don't need to say much about him. He's a bit of a little pocket rocket who bounces around and goes up the middle. Be good to see him fit and firing and seeing what he does with some extended time on the field. Pollard, he's obviously really good, as I mentioned earlier, putting a bit of pressure on the first grade halves. Got a bit of press about him as well, talking about a future superstar. Don't really like using those words, but hey, that's what the press were doing. I actually think on the extended bench that's not listed here, Taj Ford is also...
You love Taj Ford.
Oh, he's great. I think he's underrated. I think if we get him to give him a bit of time, on the park, he's going to prove doubters wrong. But he's got speed, he's got elusiveness, nice little chip kick. He's been playing fullback in New South Wales Cup while we had those few injuries, and he did really well there. So now I'm not too sure where the club sees him, whether it's still in the halves or out the back there. But he does really well in both spots. So it'd be interesting to see where they utilise him for this trial. Nephi Peru, obviously he's been there playing his trade in the halves as well. This is probably a bit of a make or break season for him as well. I do think he's probably next man up this time in the case of an injury, especially with Atco now at the Dragons.
Fitzy's confirmed he is next man up.
There you go, brilliant. We've then got a bit of experience in the engine room with Ueli, Hazelton, Beryl, Billy Burns and Talakai, and Rudolph in the back row, and Locke. So we got a bit of punch and strength there. I imagine that's to build a lot of platform for our experienced spine, and sort of give them an opportunity to show their wares instead of just getting belted around by the Eels. Now, as you said, there's a cast of 1,000 on the bench. There's my favourite there, Felix Fertilli. I've been watching him for a long time. I think he's an absolute gun. He's going to be really good for the club if we can hang on to him and develop him. Samuel McCulloch, also really good. Nicara Williams, he scored some fancy medal award thing for being an outstanding achiever in sports. So he's someone that the club has been looking at. And then a couple of journeymen and other juniors that we've got here to see how they go. I think Hassett's a Penrith player, another back row. We've got plenty of back rowers. Betha Missa, I think he came from the Tigers. And then, we've got, as I said, a couple of juniors there, like Alex Chandler, Brad Fernley. Good squad. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think everyone should try and get out there live. It's at Henson Park. They generally do a good showing there.
You going to go yourself, Franco?
I'm not going to go. No, not going to get there, unfortunately. But I do prefer going to these trial games live because you do miss the interchange and the fringe players getting their game time, because on camera there's a lot of obviously zoomed in play and you miss the off the ball work that some of these players are doing, and that's really where they shine when they're trying to.
And they often don't know who the players are either, and the player jerseys change, and
especially the commentators don't either unless they stamp their mark on the game. You see someone do a couple of good runs and forgotten about, whereas if you're actually paying attention, there was the right time, right moment, and it's really good to sort of catch that and see how they're going. This will be just a fun little hit out, unlimited interchange, and we probably won't see most of these people in trial game 2.
All right, as we switch our attention to the admin lady's beloved Parramatta Eels, and she's certainly given them a poo brown colour for those with the benefit of looking at this here. As I'll throw this to you, Chris. The Eels, Jonah Pezzett is the backup, or the ex-backup for Jerome Hughes, isn't he, from the Storm? They've got big raps on him. I can't say I'm too familiar with the rest of the Parramatta team. There's a reason why you're such a learned legend, because you watch every single game. What can you tell us about the Eels, Chris? I don't think he can tell us anything. Can you hear us, Chris?
He's muted.
Yeah, no, muted. Got nothing. Great answer. Great cogent analysis there, Mr. Kelly. All right, well, look, what else can we say about the Eels? I don't know too many of these guys here, Franco.
I know. I mean, you called out Pezzett there. That was a good call out. I'm not a big Eels person. Someone gave us a hard time for not knowing the Eels, and CK was very upset at that because he knows the Eels.
That's right. What was that guy's name?
Back
Paul.
of his hand. But in this scenario, we don't know a lot. I mean, Jermaine Hopgood, he's a regular first grader. Isaiah Yongi, he's been doing well. So, sorry, listeners. I'm here for the Sharks.
Franco and I are here for the Sharks. We literally have our expert, who is Chris, who knows all of the other teams. So he's there to actually tell us what's going on with the other team. Chris Kelly, you're back. He's still not back and he still can't hear us.
He's looking at us with a blank face.
He's looking at us. Oh, that's just so funny. All right. Well, look, that's the Eels. Look, in terms of the trial form, gang, what I make of the trial matches is you just want a couple of breakout players to just perform and see, give you something that you can see in the future. And so frequently what I found frustrating, I remember watching Dane Nielsen play for the Sharks on the wing with Damien Irvine. And Dane Nielsen was freaking awesome. And you could just tell that he was going to become a strong rugby league player, and the Sharks just missed it. So what I hope we don't do is have a missing of the the chance to see the Sharkies go out there, and let's give them a run. And I agree with Franko that a strong forward platform and giving these guys minutes. We seem to be very uninjured at the moment, so that will certainly help us heading into the start of the season. All right, let's get to some of these comments before we get to the unboxing.
Yeah, I think just quickly, Boldo, before we move on, mate, it's one of those scenarios where you want to win, obviously. I don't actually think we put enough emphasis in the preseason challenge. 100 grand for a club like ours is pretty important, I think. But that being said, it's one of those things that you're really there just to try and test out systems, check out how the kids are going, and blow out some of the cobwebs, get some impact going. But if you end up behind on the scoreboard and you get dudded, I don't think that's anything to cry over.
I was upset when the Sharks didn't understand the rules of the preseason comp and stopped offloading the ball and cost themselves $100,000. And I think I really like my coaches in sports to know the nuances of the rules. I think it's just so important. You just got to know how all these different rules work. And it was a bad training thing and bad sign. If you're going to be someone who manipulates the HIAs or the new rules or the 6 interchange players or any of that sort of stuff, you want to be someone who can manipulate the rules. So, all right, let's go through some of these comments. Stewie Campbell's given Chris a hard time about Todd Caton as the coach. 2.0 points out that Longy was their fullback last year, absolute weapon, saying that it's a fairly strong starting team. I can't say that I've watched much Eels. They're just not relevant. 2.0, so let's keep an eye. Yep.
Sorry, off you go.
I'm just going to say they're just not that relevant. They're like cellar dwellers. I'm not like waking. I'm not like rushing home on a Friday night, Franko, to watch the Eels play the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I was like, not interested. 2.0 calls out that Hassett, Penrith Junior, they weren't happy with losing him. Yeah, I have heard that. 2.0. He would be a good one for sure. And Stewie Campbell calls out that he thinks Peru will be in PNG's sights if they can't sign a number 7. Not a terrible sight. Shout. That's certainly true. No Tuku Hautapua on the bench, Franko. Anything to make of that?
No, I think it's just you can only put so many guys on the bench or in the team. We've got a strong squad there in the props. Tapua, I think, I don't want to say he's on the outer, but there is, it was very difficult to find any signing news and work out what was going on last year, and then got one extra year. So I think he's certainly got something to prove and hasn't really been lighting New South Wales Cup up. We'll see how he goes. He'll probably get a run in the second trial when some of these other more junior players drop off. It's a bit of a balance here with experience in juniors here.
All right, let's get into the unboxing, unless Chris can hear us, which I don't think he can. Because can you hear us, Chris?
I can. I'm ready to unbox.
You got any commentary on the Eels team for us, Chris? Anything? Do you want to provide?
Very quickly, our admin lady obviously did the team, and she was in hysterics, and obviously messaged Lats and I to our new favourite player, number 17, there on the team list.
Why is he your new favourite player?
He's got quite an interesting name. Teen Cum Brown.
Say that again.
Teen Cum Brown.
Teen Cum Brown. Hopefully he's not hanging out with that 1979 player who scored that try against the Sharks in that combined Brisbane match. Was it 1970? I think it was 1978 actually. And shout out to the Carr brothers. I hope you guys are well. All right, let's get into the next segment of the show. As I'm clearly dragging the chain here. And thank you for staying with us. This is the ET Stand podcast, live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun places. I think I stuffed up the Instagram link, actually. We're not on Instagram. Try and do that throughout the season. But if you're watching us on Instagram, watch us on YouTube. It's such a better experience. And shout out to those people on audio on delay. All right. It is not the NFL team. It is the merch unboxing. So, Sharks fans,
What do we get?
Long have my friends been frustrated at my inability to give them all of the Sharks merch that we get sent. So this is the Sharks merch box. Well, I think it's the Sharks merch box. So I'm going to open this now. We're going to do an unboxing video. Now, Franco, I've never really done an unboxing video. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm trying to cut it open now and see how we go.
Just don't cut your finger off.
Let's see what we get in terms
Don't
of
cut my lunchbox.
in terms of our membership pack. So opening up my membership box here of the ET stand. Look at this. Getting a lovely up Cronulla cardboard box thing here. It's quite cool. If we open that up. Oh, there we go. I got 10% off Zambrero. And I got a membership card here for Jet, which is good fun. So I got a whole bunch of these boxes. So I assume in these we've got heaps of boxes like that. So that's pretty cool. Then we've got, all right, what else have we got in here? Oh, we've got a bunch of beanies. Oh, there we go. So we've got a scarf. Got a whole bunch of scarves. Here we go. Look at these. 4 scarves. What else have we got? And then I've got a bunch of beanies. Goodness me, look how many beanies I got. Like 10 beanies.
Yes, they new one.
That's pretty good. Let's open up the beanies. Yeah, these are feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Oh.
I feel like
Got
I'm
the
like
bobble.
that guy from the Green Bay Packers who's got the bigger head helmet.
The Guardian
his
cap.
The guard, like I've got a Guardian cap on.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. We got more of these boxes. So I guess these are just all the same. Yeah, they're just the same with the tickets in them.
Surely a fresh lanyard. I need another lanyard.
Oh, we can all use more lanyards. And then we've got some hats as well. Here we go. We've got a couple of hats.
Very nice.
So that's the Sharks membership pack. Came through.
I was looking forward. There was a couple of sneaky products that they were supposed to throw in there, and I think there was a medal, and then there was a possible bobblehead of the crying gallon ET.
What?
The crying bobblehead of the ET.
Of ET and Gallon crying after the premiership.
Yeah, right.
That really would have upset the admin lady sitting on a desk.
And that Sharks membership scarf, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, you got the black side and then the white side. I like the scarf section.
You are a scarf guy.
I am a scarf guy. You know, Vince. Yeah.
We need our scarves to have pockets at the end of them for your hands.
Yeah, that would be useful. You know, Vince McMahon says that if you wear a scarf, it means you're a bad guy. It's like dastardly to wear a scarf, apparently.
Oh. True.
So, all right, 2.0's upset at me for mentioning the Packers, more putrid than the Dragons.
He's an upset Bears fan, Boldo, so.
I know. Mike asks us, is Tony from King One in there by any chance? No, he's not. He is
Still
not.
never found.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Stewie Campbell reminds us, I should have put this in, Stewie. This is why you're in the comments. So Emma Tonegado is out for the year having a baby. So congratulations to you, Emma Tonegado. That child is going to be extremely talented, good looking, and just have everything going for it. So good luck to you, Emma Tonegado. That sounds very, very cool. Mike also points out that no Jack Williams heels are a chance. Remember we were arguing about the merit of Jack Williams last season? Who was that with? Who was on board with Jack Williams? Was it Maddie?
There was someone who was a fan of Jack
No,
Williams.
there was,
There was a
there
comment
was an
on-
argument.
There was an argument as, Jack Williams, he's no good. All right, well, that was the unboxing. I'm going to keep this helmet on. Actually, no, it's getting a bit hot. I'll take them off. That's tough. All right, that was the unboxing of the Sharks membership pack. Thanks for that, Sharks. Yep, you guys will never see any of that material.
He'll tell us every week. It's in the car.
If you want to find my,
and it's
if you
never in
want
the
to find my
car.
Facebook link to my personal page there, you can find my 12 different shark scarves for sale on Marketplace. They're all available right now. All right, as we move on to the next segment. Goodness me, I'm such a crook. All right. Chris Kelly every season does an NFL team of NRL players. So we're going to bring that up on screen right now. We'll move Chris into this spot. Now, for the benefit of those on audio only, the players in black, that means they are a two-time All-Pro NRL NFL team from Chris Kelly. So, Chris, take us through your NRL team of NFL players.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I doubled down on a few, but it obviously was. So at fullback, we obviously went with Jamar Chase. I went with a quite talented wide receivers. I think they can play in the back line. their leaping skills, their catching ability, their speed. So Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, JSN, who just recently won the Super Bowl, was pretty much the fantasy winner for the season. Unbelievable season that he had as a wide receiver for Seattle Seahawks. I then had Puka Nakua, who I believe can play any sport that he wanted to if he tried. I'm sure once he comes over here to Melbourne for the MCG game against the 49ers. So I went with a bit of a Rams 49ers mix up as well for the upcoming Sydney game.
You have got a bit of love for the Rams at the moment, don't you?
Yeah, I've always had a bit of an affiliation with the Rams. Nice colours, good stadium, good place to play. Ever since the Super Bowl finished yesterday, obviously everyone latched on to the punter for the Seattle Seahawks, Michael Dixon, everywhere from Kirrawee High to people who lived in the Shire.
Is he a Sharks fan? I've seen people ask Chris.
Yeah, I'm going to have to find out, but a lot of people seem to gravitate and grab onto the glory of a Kirrawee local. So maybe that's one thing we can throw up to find out if he's an actual Sharks fan. He did grow up in the Shire, so we'll see. The Prince is already trying to get in there.
Grow up in the Shire and not be a Sharks fan. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, we don't want to get into that. So he made the Luke Cavell spot on the wing as a punter / winger.
Fair enough. Probably can goal kick as well.
We went the MVP Matthew Stafford for a veteran at number 6, and then my new soon-to-be favourite player Fernando Mendoza, who's coming in as a rookie at number 7, will be the Raiders' number 1 pick in the NFL draft coming up. We then went Jordan Mailata, obviously rugby league background, played for South at the old NYC competition, is now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Boldo, just for you, the number 9, I thought Baker Mayfield's a great shout to play hooker. Little squirrely guy, get around.
That's one you're just putting that in for me, aren't you?
Yeah, I thought who can play a really good number 9? I thought Baker Mayfield. Imagine him out there terrorising another team as playing a 9. It'd be great to see. Obviously, then we went to the scary guys and Micah Parsons, Max Crosby, and Myles Garrett to pretty much smash everyone.
And I made a mistake here, Chris. You updated this.
Yes.
You dropped him.
I did drop Travis Swift because I thought he had an awful season. Bit distracted with the off fields. His beloved Chiefs fell off the absolute face of the earth. So I actually went with another tight end in the 49ers who was also injured, George Kittle, to keep that Australian flavour going. So I think George Kittle will absolutely love a bit of rugby league. And then we went with Sean McVay and his assistant coach as Ben Johnson.
Great team there, Chris. Well done. Always fun looking at the NRL team of NFL players. Thanks for doing that. And, of course, the Seattle Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. And as soon as the Super Bowl is over, the NRL season certainly starts for us. All right, well, that is the last of the sports segments. Look, in the off-season, a friend of the show, Chris Bloxham, was tragically killed in a bicycle accident at Ramsgate. And the three of us actually went to primary school with Bloxham. And me certainly knowing him very well, calling him one of my best buddies in my youth. Chris is known for telling people that whatever you decide to be, just be the best version of that. And so he said to me once upon a time, a couple of years ago, he said, Dave, if you're going to do this podcast thing, just be the best podcaster you can be. You're a painter, be the best painter. You're best at, whatever you do, just be the best at that. And his business and life advice is now certainly immortalized on his Solve Accounting YouTube page. So it's, advice for the ages. He was an elite level accountant and financial planner. He leaves a legacy of a business that was built out of his mold. So Solve Accounting are going to continue to be a partner of the EG Stand podcast through his great friend Phil, who's a business partner of that business. And so that's terrific that those guys are still going to be involved. I met Chris when I was 4 years old. We played sport together in and against each other for years. We worked at Miranda Hotel together. He became my accountant, set up my media business for me, and also the sponsored, as I mentioned, this podcast. Sadly, Bloxy's young kids won't to grow up to know him like we did, and I just thought it was important to find some way of putting a personal record of my opinion of Chris so that one day maybe his kids, when they're older, they can watch this and see what one of his mates thought of him. He was a cheeky little shit in school. I caught up with his ex-soccer coach, John Heldorn, famous with the Cronulla Seagulls and husband of one of our old teachers, and she just said Chris Bloxham was an absolute cheeky little shit, and he was incredibly funny. Recently, he was so excited for the podcast studio build that we've got going on. So I'm moving houses and building a studio and got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and he talked me through the strategy of that. He's a terrific friend who came in and out of my life at various different stages, and so I guess my last words for everyone on this show and is just, if you got those old buddies, you can call them anytime. So don't miss out, don't miss them, and believe the ET stand for that. Anything to add, fellas?
It's always sad. I think obviously big emotions, big feels, terrible time of the year, but it's never a good time of the year when you've got a young family like that. So it's a bit hard to stomach. And I think, he was well loved.
Yeah, I think your words were spot on, Boldo. It's hard to sort of fathom at our age that you lose someone like that. I'll always remember just like, I think like Mr. Heldorn said, it was spot on, was like that cheeky grit on his face, tenacious. He was out there. He? Yeah, he just threw it, handball court to soccer field. He was like a bulldog at a gate. It was just, it was unbelievable. So that's how I always remembered him, living up on Gannon's Road there as well. So a local kid, and it's kind of hard to take. When you sent me that message, I was kind of blown away. So, because you just think it's still at this age, he's still untouchable, but it's just one of those tragic things. So thoughts out to his family.
Just not the way, certainly not the way it works. Amusingly today, it bloody took me 2 hours to work out how to fade a video in to get his video of his picture to fade in and out. And I just think he would have absolutely loved the fact that he caused me just a bit more bloody pain and heartache and annoyance. So, Bloxy, you'll be sorely missed, and much love to your family and your wife and your mother and your sisters as well. You'll be sorely missed. And that Solve Accounting team and that business is his legacy. They are a terrific bunch of guys. Phil and Jono, I am going to stay as your client and your partner, and you guys will be good. So that was the ET stand. We'll leave it at that. We will be back Sunday night. Franco, will we do a debrief?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I've got a
big night Saturday. We'll see how hungover I am.
You're gonna be in big night form, are you, Franco?
I am. So we'll plan it. It's 6 p.m. Sunday. So around the same time Sunday night, 8:30 for a debrief. Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So for those that might be new to the channel, we do a debrief straight after full time of every single match. So we'll try and do that this time. I'm still doing the move, so I might struggle to make it to the match. So we'll see how we go. And failing that, we'll be back Tuesday night next week. I'm going to do next week. Obviously, before the season starts, we will have the player tiers. And then we will also have, I'm going to go back and look at all of Fitzgibbon's finals matches and give them all a grade, because I think we're a finals team now and we've got to be focusing on how we perform in the finals. And so actually it's the progression of the Sharks in the finals is what we really need to go looking at. So we'll certainly do that. Beyond that, we've got a Discord channel. Franco's put the link for that in the channel notes. We've also started memberships. So we've got a nice partnership going with the Sharks Historian. We've got a whole bunch of ex-Sharks matches that'll go up on the YouTube page as well. So if you want to become a member of the channel, we're working out exactly what you get for that. Shout out to our 2 members so far. Big two members, 2.0, 2 members. It sounds a bit scary. And beyond that, I am David Boldo, your host of the ET Stand, for my dear friend Stephen Franklin and Christopher Kelly. Up Cronulla. We'll see you guys during the season. Let's go Sharkies.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the E.T. Stand Podcast.